Ethics is the branch of philosophy that deals with moral principles, guiding human behavior in terms of right and wrong, justice and virtue. It applies to personal conduct, professional practices, and societal norms. Normative ethics focuses on how people should behave, establishing moral standards and principles, for example, virtue ethics, deontology, utilitarianism. Descriptive ethics studies how people actually behave and the moral beliefs they hold, without judging right or wrong, e.g., cultural moral differences. Descriptive ethics focuses on observing and describing people's actual behavior. It seeks to understand why individuals act the way they do, often studying real-life practices and cultural norms to explain human conduct. In contrast, normative ethics sets standards for how people ought to behave. It justifies why certain behaviors are considered morally right or wrong and proposes guidelines for ethical conduct, aiming to establish universal principles that guide actions and decisions. While descriptive ethics explains behaviors, normative ethics provides a framework for moral expectations and ideals. There are three types of normative ethics: teleological, deontological, virtue ethics. Teleological ethics, or consequentialism, judges morality based on the outcomes of actions. An action is right if it leads to good consequences. The most common form is utilitarianism, which focuses on maximizing overall happiness or well-being. Deontological ethics focuses on the inherent morality of actions rather than their consequences. It emphasizes duties, rules, and principles. A key proponent is Immanuel Kant, who argued that actions are morally right if they follow universal moral laws, truthfulness, justice. Virtue ethics focuses on an individual's character rather than rules or consequences. It emphasizes cultivating virtues like honesty, courage, and compassion to lead a morally good life. The three main ethical approaches. First, virtue ethics, ethics of character, focuses on developing good character traits, virtues like honesty, courage, and kindness. Second, utilitarianism, teleological ethics, judges actions based on their consequences, aiming to maximize overall happiness or well-being. And last, deontology, duty-based ethics, focuses on following moral rules and duties, regardless of outcomes. There are two main types of ethical theories: ethics of conduct and ethics of character. Ethics of conduct focuses on determining right and wrong actions. Consequentialism evaluates morality based on outcomes. Ethical egoism claims actions are right if they benefit oneself, while utilitarianism states actions are right if they maximize overall happiness. Deontology, on the other hand, is based on duty and moral rules, with Kantianism asserting that actions are right if they follow universal moral laws. In contrast, ethics of character, specifically virtue ethics, emphasizes developing moral virtues like honesty and courage to cultivate good character. Consequentialism is the ethical theory that judges actions based on their outcomes. Instead of following fixed moral duties, it determines right and wrong by evaluating consequences. For example, while lying is generally considered wrong, a consequentialist would argue that lying is acceptable if it saves a life. Utilitarianism is an ethical theory that determines right and wrong based on the outcomes of actions. It is a form of consequentialism that prioritizes utility or the greatest happiness. The trolley problem is a thought experiment in ethics. It presents a scenario where a trolley is headed toward 5 people tied to a track. You're standing next to a lever that can switch the trolley to another track, where only one person is tied. The dilemma is whether to pull the lever, sacrificing one person to save 5 others, or do nothing and let the trolley kill the 5 people. It raises questions about moral choices and the value of individual lives. When comparing the 3 ethical approaches to lying, a consequentialist would argue that lying is wrong because of its negative consequences, but might allow it in specific situations, if the outcomes are deemed beneficial. On the other hand, a deontologist believes lying is always wrong, regardless of any potential good that might come from it, as it goes against moral duties. Meanwhile, a virtue ethicist focuses on the character and intentions behind the decision to lie, evaluating it on a case-by-case basis. They would consider the personal and group benefits, as well as how the action reflects one's moral values and overall character. Ethics is built on key components that guide our behavior and decision-making. Honesty means always telling the truth, while integrity ensures we do the right thing even when no one is watching. Transparency involves open and clear communication, and accountability holds us responsible for our actions. Confidentiality protects sensitive information, and objectivity ensures fairness without personal bias. Respectfulness promotes treating others with dignity, and obedience to the law ensures we follow rules and regulations. Together, these components create a strong ethical foundation in both personal and professional life. Whistleblowing is the act of exposing unethical, illegal, or harmful activities within an organization. A whistleblower is someone, often an employee, who reports misconduct such as fraud, corruption, safety violations, or abuse of power. Whistleblowing can be internal, where concerns are reported within the organization, or external, where the information is shared with authorities, the media, or the public. Many laws protect whistleblowers from retaliation, ensuring they can speak up without fear of losing their job or facing other consequences. The 3 R's of ethics rules, responsibility, and respect serve as a foundation for ethical behavior. Rules provide clear guidelines on what is right and wrong, ensuring fairness and consistency. Responsibility means being accountable for our actions and making decisions that consider the well-being of others. Respect involves treating people with dignity, valuing their opinions, and recognizing their rights. Together, these dimensions help create a just and ethical environment in both personal and professional life. A code of ethics serves as a guiding framework for professionals, helping them make ethical decisions in their work. It outlines the fundamental principles and standards that ensure integrity, fairness, and responsibility. By following a code of ethics, professionals can navigate complex situations with honesty, accountability, and respect for others. This framework not only protects individuals and organizations but also builds trust and credibility in society. A code of ethics serves as a set of guidelines for specific groups of professionals, helping them perform their roles with integrity and responsibility. It provides clear instructions on how to conduct themselves and handle ethical dilemmas in their field. These codes ensure that professionals apply moral and ethical principles to real-world situations, promoting fairness and accountability. Additionally, they define the rights, duties, and obligations of members within a profession, fostering trust and professionalism in the workplace. The positive rules of a code of ethics play a crucial role in shaping professional behavior and maintaining integrity within a profession. Inspiration and guidance help professionals uphold high ethical standards in their work. Support for responsible conduct ensures accountability and encourages ethical decision-making by deterring and disciplining unethical behavior. These rules protect the profession's credibility. Education and the promotion of mutual understanding foster a culture of respect and cooperation. Additionally, a strong ethical code enhances the public image of the profession, ensuring trust and confidence. While it may also serve to protect the status quo and promote business interests, ethical guidelines should always prioritize fairness, transparency, and the greater good of society. Protecting the status quo in a code of ethics means establishing ethical conventions that set a minimum standard for professional conduct. These conventions ensure consistency and help maintain integrity within the profession. By defining acceptable behavior, the codes provide stability and prevent ethical violations. However, they can also suppress disputes within the profession by discouraging dissent or challenging established norms. While maintaining order is important, ethical guidelines should also encourage continuous improvement and adaptability to evolving moral and professional standards. While codes of ethics provide important guidelines for professional conduct, they have certain limitations. First, they are often broad and general, making it difficult to apply them directly to every specific situation. In fields like engineering, internal conflicts may arise when different ethical principles overlap, leading to moral dilemmas. Additionally, a code of ethics cannot be the ultimate authority on moral decisions, as ethical issues are often complex and require personal judgment, critical thinking, and situational analysis beyond written guidelines. Therefore, while useful, ethical codes should be supplemented with thoughtful decision-making and professional integrity. Computer ethics is the study of ethical issues, related to the use of computing technology and the responsibilities of computing professionals. It addresses concerns such as privacy, cybersecurity, intellectual property, digital rights, and the ethical use of artificial intelligence. As technology continues to evolve, computer ethics plays a crucial role in ensuring fairness, accountability, and responsible decision-making in the digital world. Computer ethics outlines essential guidelines to ensure responsible and respectful use of technology. It emphasizes not using a computer to harm others, interfering with their work, or snooping into private files. It also warns against stealing digital resources, copying proprietary software without proper payment, or using someone else's computing resources without authorization. Furthermore, computer ethics stresses the importance of respecting intellectual property by not appropriating others' ideas or work. By adhering to these principles, we can foster a digital environment built on trust, responsibility, and fairness. When designing a program or system, it is essential to think about the social consequences of your work. Consider how the technology will impact individuals and society as a whole, ensuring it does not harm others or lead to unfair outcomes. Use a computer in ways that promote respect for others and uphold ethical standards, keeping in mind the potential effects on privacy, security, and fairness. By considering these factors, we can ensure technology serves the greater good and fosters a positive, responsible digital environment.